I want you to cast aside all doubts, all fears, and all limitations that you have imposed upon yourself. For in this moment, we stand at the threshold of infinite possibility, where the seeds of greatness are waiting to be planted in the fertile soil of your imagination. Imagination, my dear friends, is the God-given power that resides within you. For the empire we speak of is not one that exists in the external world, but one that takes form first in the realm of imagination. Consider for a moment the great empires of history: Rome, Britain, the United States. Before they became physical realities, they existed as ideas, as visions in the minds of those who dared to dream. And so it is with your empire. It must first be conceived and nurtured in the womb of your imagination before it can be birthed into the world of form. To act as if you're going to build an empire is to assume the state of the wish fulfilled. It is to live from the end, to experience in your mind and heart the reality of your as if it already exists, and carrying yourself with the confidence of one who has already succeeded. Imagine for a moment that you are the head of a vast empire. How would you walk? How would you talk? How would you interact with others? Would you doubt your abilities or question your worth? Of course not. You would move through the world with an unshakable belief in yourself and your vision. This is the state of consciousness you must adopt now, in this very moment. For as you assume this state, you set in motion the forces of creation that will bring your empire into being. Remember, the outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner state of being. Change the inner, and the outer must conform. Now, some of you may be thinking, I've tried creative thinking before, and nothing changed. To this I say, you have not fully understood the power of imagination and assumption. It is not enough to merely think positive thoughts or recite affirmations. You must feel the reality of your desired state with every fiber of your being. When you lie down to sleep at night, do not close your eyes to the world as it appears to be. Instead, close your eyes to enter the world as you wish it to be. See yourself at the helm of your empire. Feel the weight of responsibility on your shoulders, but also the exhilaration of success. Hear the voices of those who look to you for leadership. Smell the leather of your executive chair. Taste the sweetness of accomplishment. As you immerse yourself in this imaginal scene night after night, you are impressing upon your subconscious mind the reality of your empire. And it is your subconscious mind that holds the power to bring your desires into manifestation. You must act on the knowledge of your coming empire. Prepare yourself mentally, emotionally, and spiritually for the greatness that awaits you. Cultivate the skill, the mindset, and the connections that an empire builder would possess. For in doing so, you are not merely pretending, you are becoming. Let me share with you a personal experience that illustrates this principle. Your task is to bring it forth through the creative power of your imagination. Now let us address a common misconception. Acting as if you're going to build an empire does not mean ignoring the present reality or neglecting the practical steps necessary for success. On the contrary, it means approaching your current circumstances with the mindset of an empire builder. If you are currently working an entry-level job, do not despair or resent your position. Instead, see it as the first step in your empire-building journey. Approach each task, no matter how mundane, with the dedication and excellence a CEO. For in truth, you are the CEO of your own life, the rule of your inner kingdom. Remember the words of Scripture, he who is faithful in little is always faithful. By proving your worth and capability in your current circumstances, you are laying the foundation for the empire to come. The skills you develop, the relationships you forge, the reputation you build, all of these are true elements in the manifestation of your vision. Moreover, as you act from the state of having achieved your goal, you will find that opportunities begin to present themselves. Doors that were once closed will mysteriously open. People who can aid you in your journey will be drawn to you, almost as if by magic. But it is not magic, my dear friends. It is the law of attraction and action responding to the changes in your consciousness. Let me give you an example to illustrate this point. Imagine two individuals, both aspiring entrepreneurs. The first constantly doubts himself, focuses on his limitations, and approaches potential investors with a sense of desperation. The second, having applied the principle we're discussing today, carries himself with the confidence of a successful business owner. He sees each meeting not as a plea for help, but as an opportunity to share his vision and invite others to be part of something great. Which of these two do you think is more likely to succeed? Which one would you be more inclined to support or invest in? The answer is clear. By assuming the state of success, by acting as if your empire is already a reality, you become a magnet for the very opportunities and resources you need to make it manifest. But let me caution you, my friends, this is not about ego or arrogance. The empire builder we speak of is not a tyrant or a despot, but a visionary leader who owns that true power lies in service to others. As you act as if you're building an empire, cultivate also the qualities of wisdom, compassion, and responsibility. For what good is an empire if it does not uplift humanity? What value is there in wealth and power if it does not fly up higher purpose? The greatest empires in history are those that have contributed to the advancement of civilization, that have left the world better than they found it. So as you imagine your empire, see also the positive impact it will have on the world. Visualize the lives that will be improved, the problems that will be solved, the beauty that will be created. Let this be the driving force behind your actions, the fuel that powers your imagination. Now, my dear friends, I want you to understand that the journey of building an empire is not always smooth or easy. There will be challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt. But it is in these moments that the power of your imagination becomes most crucial. When faced with obstacles, do not succumb to fear or despair. Instead, return to your imaginal scene. Step once again into the reality of your completed empire. Feel the strength, the resilience, the unwavering faith of the person who has overcome all challenges to achieve their vision. From this state of consciousness, approach your problems not as insurmountable barriers, but as opportunities for growth and innovation. For every great empire in history has faced its share of challenges, and it is in overcoming these challenges that empires are forged and leaders are made. Consider the story of Abraham Lincoln, who failed in business, suffered a nervous breakdown, and lost multiple elections before becoming one of the greatest presidents in American history. Or think of Steve Jobs, who was ousted from the company he founded only to return years later and lead Apple to unprecedented success. These individuals did not allow their circumstances to define them. They held fast to their vision. They acted as if their empires were destined to be built, and in doing so, they reshaped the world. You too have this power within you. The challenges you face are not punishments or signs of failure. They are the very tools by which your empire will be built, the forge in which your character will be tempered. As you go through your daily life, I want you to be acutely aware of your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. Are they aligned with the empire you intend to build? Are you thinking the thoughts of an empire builder? Are you feeling emotions of someone who knows their success is assured? Are you taking the actions that your future self would be proud of? If you find yourself slipping into doubt or negativity, do not judge yourself harshly. Simply acknowledge the thought or emotion, and then consciously choose to realign yourself with your vision. This is the practice of living from the end, of maintaining the state of the wish fulfilled. Let me share with you a technique that I have found particularly powerful in maintaining the state of consciousness. Throughout your day, pause for a moment and ask yourself, how would I be seeing this situation if my empire were already built? This simple question can shift your perspective dramatically, allowing you to approach even the most challenging circumstances from a place of power and possibility. For instance, if you're faced with a difficult decision, instead of feeling overwhelmed, ask yourself, how would the successful leader of my empire handle this situation? By doing so, you tap into a wellspring of wisdom and confidence that you may not have realized you possessed. Remember, my friends, the empire you are building is not separate from you. It is an extension of your consciousness, a manifestation of your innermost being. As you grow and evolve, so too will your empire. As you expand your consciousness, so too will the reach and impact of your vision. This is why personal growth and self-reflection are crucial elements in the process of empire building. Take time each day to nurture your mind, body, and spirit. Read voraciously, not just in your field of expertise, but across a wide range of subjects. For true innovation often comes from connecting ideas across disparate fields. Practice meditation or contemplation, allowing yourself moments of stillness amidst the beats of building your empire. In these moments of quiet, you may receive inspirations and insights that can propel your vision forward in ways you never imagined. Care for your physical health as well, for a strong body supports a strong mind. The demands of empire building require stamina, energy, and resilience. By treating your body as a valuable instrument, it is to ensure that you have the vitality needed to bring your vision to life. And perhaps most importantly, cultivate relationships with others who share your vision and values. Surround yourself with those who believe in you and your empire, even if they cannot yet see it in the physical world. Their faith in you will strengthen your own faith in yourself. But be cautious, my dear friends, of those who would seek to diminish your vision or discourage you from your path. Not everyone will understand the empire you are building, especially in its early stages. Some may scoff at your ambitions or try to convince you to settle for less. These voices, both external and internal, you must learn to say with kindness but firmness. I appreciate your concern, but I know the truth of who I am and what I am capable of achieving. For in the end, it is your belief in yourself and your vision that will determine the success of your empire. As we near the conclusion of our time together, I want to emphasize once more the importance of persistence and patience in this process. Rome, as they say, was not built in a day, and neither will your empire be. But every day, with every thought, every emotion, and every action aligned with your vision, you are laying the foundation and erecting the pillars of your empire. Trust in the process, my friends. Trust in the law of assumption. Trust in the creative power of your imagination. For as surely as night follows day, the seed planted in the fertile soil of your mind will grow and bear fruit in the physical world. Let me leave you with this final thought. The empire you are building is not just for you. It is for all those whose lives will be touched and transformed by your vision. It is for the generations that will come after you, who will build upon the foundation you have laid. So act as if you're going to build an empire, not just for your own sake, but for the sake of all humanity. Let your vision be grand, let your actions be bold, and let your faith be unshakable. For in truth, my dear friends, you are not just building an empire. You are participating in the grand creative process of the universe itself. You are fulfilling your divine purpose, expressing the infinite potential that lies within you. As you leave this place today, carry with you the knowledge that you are already the emperor or empress of your own consciousness. The throne is yours to claim. The crown is yours to wear. Step into this role with grace, with confidence, and with the unwavering certainty that your empire is not just a possibility, but an inevitability. Go forth, my friends, and build your empires, not in some distant future, but here and now, in the only moment that truly exists. For as you assume the state of the wish fulfilled, as you live from the end, you set in motion forces beyond your comprehension that will work tirelessly to bring your vision into reality. Remember, the world is waiting for your empire. It is waiting for the unique gifts that only you can bring, for the problems that only you can solve, for the beauty that only you can create. Do not keep the world waiting any longer. Act as if you're going to build an empire, and watch in awe as the universe conspires to make it so. For in the end, my dear friends, it is not just an empire you are building, but a new world, a world shaped by your imagination, brought into being by your faith, and sustained by your love. Go now and create. Go now and build. Go now and become the emperor or empress you were always meant to be. The power is within you. The time is now, and the world is waiting. Thank you. and may your empires flourish beyond your wildest dreams. In your world today, you've been conditioned to believe that effort, struggle, and constant striving are the pathways to your desires. The world teaches you to push harder, to fight more fiercely, to compete more intensely. But I tell you this, the very act of trying is the confession that you do not have. And as long as you are trying to get something, you are confirming its absence in your experience. Let me share with you a principle that I know to be true, not as theory, but as a law I have proven countless times. The more you try to get something, the more you push it away. This is the law of reverse effort, and it operates with mathematical precision in our universe. When you try to get something, you are automatically confessing that you don't have it, and what you confess, you possess. I think about it for a moment. When you try to fall asleep, does sleep come? No, the harder you try, the more elusive sleep becomes. When you try to remember a name, does it come to you? No. It's only when you stop trying, when you relax your mind, that the name flows effortlessly into your consciousness. This is the secret I'm sharing with you tonight. Now let me take you to Scripture, for the Bible is the greatest psychological document ever written. In the book of Matthew, it is written, "Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." Notice carefully the tense used here. It doesn't say believe you will receive it, but believe that you have received it. This is the key to all manifestation. The great error of humanity is that they're trying to get what they already have. You are trying to become what you already are. The very moment you desire something, that which you desire already exists in what I call your imaginal act. It is already yours in the spiritual realm. And the spiritual realm is the cause, while the physical realm is but the effect. Let me share with you a personal experience. Years ago, when I was in Barbados, I desired to go to America. Everyone told me it was impossible during wartime. The quota was small, and the waiting list was long. But I discovered this principle I'm sharing with you tonight. Instead of trying to get to America, I assumed I was already there. I lived in the end, in the feeling of already being in America. I walked the streets of New York in my imagination. I felt the cold winter air on my face. I saw the tall buildings. I lived from that state of consciousness. I did not try to get there. I lived as though I was already there. And then the most extraordinary series of events unfolded. A man I had never met facilitated my journey. And within months, I was standing on the very streets I had walked in my imagination. You see, the secret is not in the trying, but in the assuming of the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Now, let me show you how this principle operates in every area of your life. Whether it's money, love, health, or success, the law remains the same. The moment you stop trying to get it and simply assume you have it, the entire universe reorganizes itself to make it so. But you must understand, this is not positive thinking or wishful thinking. This is the law of consciousness. Consider this. Everything in your world is pushed out of your consciousness. Your consciousness is the only reality. When you try to get something, you are pushing out the consciousness of lack, of not having. But when you assume you already have it, when you live in the end, you push out the consciousness of possession, of having. Let me give you a technique I have taught to thousands, and it has never failed when properly applied. Instead of trying to get what you want, every night as you lay down to sleep, assume you already have it. Feel the naturalness of having it. Create a scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the completeness of possession. Then fall asleep in that state. You see, sleep is the state of consciousness where your subconscious mind is most receptive. As you fall asleep feeling you already have what you desire, you are impregnating your subconscious with the seed of fulfillment. And just as a seed must fall into the earth and die to its current form to be reborn as something greater, your conscious mind must fly into the sleep state while holding the feeling of fulfillment. This is what is meant in Scripture when it says, "The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, which a man took and planted in his field." Your desire, planted in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind through the feeling of fulfillment, must grow and manifest in your world. But remember, you must stop trying. Trying implies effort, and effort implies lack. Instead, live in the absolute assumption that what you desire is already yours. Feel its reality now. Experience the joy of possession now. Let every action, every word, every thought spring from the consciousness of already being what you want to be, having what you want to have. Many of you may be thinking, but Neville, how can I assume something is mine when my senses tell me otherwise? This is where the art of consciousness comes into play. Your physical senses show you the harvest of your previous assumptions. They show you the effects, not the cause. The cause lies in your consciousness, and that is where the change must take place. When you walk into your room at night, you don't try to get light. You simply flick the switch, assuming the light will come on. You don't stand there trying to make the light appear. You act with the absolute confidence that the light will respond to your action. This is how you must be with all your desires. Let me share another principle that few understand. The outside world is dead. It has no power to give you anything or take anything away. It is simply responding to your consciousness. When you try to change things on the outside without changing your consciousness, you are like someone trying to change their reflection in the mirror without changing their face. Your world is yourself pushed out. Every person, every circumstance, every event in your life is yourself pushed out. When you try to change them through effort, you are working on the reflection. But when you change your consciousness, when you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, the reflection must change. This is why Scripture tells us, be still and know that I am God. This stillness is not physical stillness, but the stillness of trying. It is the cessation of effort. It is the complete acceptance that what you desire is already yours. Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin. Yet Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. This is not a lesson in laziness, but a profound spiritual truth. The lily doesn't try to grow. It grows by allowing the life force within it to express itself perfectly. You are that lily. Your desires are the perfect pattern of your unfolding. But when you try to force them into being, you interfere with the perfect pattern. You introduce struggle where there should be only allowance. Let me give you a practical exercise. Tonight, when you go home, take your desire, whatever it may be, and create a scene that would imply its fulfillment. Make it as natural as possible. If your desire is for a new home, feel yourself living in that home. Feel the texture of the furniture. Walk from room to room. Feel the joy of ownership. Then, and this is crucial, don't try to make it happen. Simply know that by feeling the reality of it, you have set in motion the law that must bring it into your physical experience. Remember, the feeling is the secret. Not the trying, not the effort, but the feeling. Feel as you would feel if your desire were already a physical fact. Persist in that feeling and watch how life rearranges itself to match your assumption. Now, let me address something that often confuses people. They ask, but Neville, doesn't this mean we should do nothing? No, that's not what I'm teaching. Action will come, but it will be inspired action, not forced action. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you will be moved to take whatever action is necessary, but it will feel natural and effortless. Think of a composer writing music. He doesn't try to compose, he listens inwardly and records what he hears. Think of a great artist painting. They don't try to paint, they allow the image within to express itself through them. This is how you must be with your desires. The great secret is this: the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the very feeling that seals its fulfillment. The more you try to get it, the more you affirm its absence. But when you live in the end, when you possess it in consciousness, the trying ceases and the having begins. Let me share one more biblical reference that beautifully illustrates this principle. Before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I will hear. This is telling you that the moment you desire something, it is already accomplished in consciousness. Your work is not to get it, but to accept it, to assume it, to live in the end. As we conclude tonight's discussion, I want you to grasp this fundamental truth. Everything you desire desires you. Everything you want wants you. But as long as you try to get it, you create resistance. The moment you assume you have it, all resistance dissolves. Tonight, dare to assume you are what you want to be. Dare to assume you have what you want to have. Don't try to make it happen. Know that it is already done. Live from that assumption and watch the miracle unfold. Remember, consciousness is the only reality. What you are conscious of being and having, you must become and have. The world is yourself pushed out. Change your concept of yourself, and you change your world. Stop trying to get it, and you'll have it. This is the law, and there is no other way under heaven by which anything is accomplished. The kingdom of heaven is within you, and all that you desire is already there, waiting for you to stop trying to get it, and simply accept it as yours. Now, go in peace, knowing that what I have told you tonight is true. Apply this law, test it, prove it in the laboratory of daily life. For I tell you, with God, all things are possible. And God is your own wonderful human imagination. Many of you came to me after our previous discussions asking, but Neville, if I stop trying, won't everything fall apart? Let me tell you a story that will illuminate this principle further. There was a lady in my audience in New York who had been trying to sell her house for 2 years. She had listed it with countless agents, reduced the price repeatedly, and was constantly trying to make the sale happen. After hearing this principle, she did something remarkable. She went home that night and did what I'm teaching you. Instead of trying to sell the house, she assumed it was already sold. She sat in her favorite chair and constructed a scene implying the sale was completed. In her imagination, she held the check in her hands, feeling its crisp texture. She felt the joy and relief of the completed sale. Most importantly, she stopped trying to sell it. Within 1 week, a buyer appeared who purchased the house at her original asking price. You see, the lady's constant trying was her confession of not having, and therefore she could only reap the harvest of not having. The moment she assumed the completed state, the law of consciousness had to operate to bring it into her experience. Let me take you deeper into Scripture, for remember, the Bible is not telling the story of historical events, but is revealing eternal psychological truths. Consider the story of the Israelites trying to enter the Promised Land. For 40 years they wandered in the wilderness, trying to reach their destination. But it was only when they stopped trying, when they followed the instruction to stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, that the walls of Jericho fell and they entered their promised land. This is not just a historical account, it is your story. Your desire is your promised land, and your trying is your wilderness wandering. The walls of Jericho represent all the seeming obstacles between you and your desire. But these walls fall not by effort, but by assumption. Now, let me give you a practical technique that I call the Sabbath. In Scripture, God rested on the seventh day, not because he was tired, but because the work was done. This is your guide. When you properly assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you too must rest from your mental labor of trying to make it happen. This is your Sabbath. Every time you find yourself trying to make something happen, catch yourself and remember, the trying is a confession of absence. Instead, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and rest in that assumption. This is what it means to enter into his rest. Consider how you operate when you truly have something. When you have money in the bank, do you try to have it? No, you simply know it's there. When you are in your own home, do you try to be there? Of course not. You simply are there. This is how you must be with your desires. Let me share another principle that few understand. Your consciousness is God's gift to you, but what you do with it is your gift to God. When you try to get something, you are essentially telling God that his gift is incomplete, that something is missing. But when you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are accepting the gift in its completeness. Many of you have asked me about taking action. Never you say, if I stop trying, should I stop doing? No, my dear friends, action will still occur. But it will be inspired action rather than desperate action. When you assume the state of the wish fulfilled, you will be moved to take whatever action is necessary, but it will feel natural and effortless. Think of a bird building its nest. It doesn't try to build, it simply follows its inner pattern. The action flows naturally from its state of consciousness. This is how your action should flow, not from trying, but from being. Here's a profound truth. The universe cannot give you what you want. It can only give you what you are. As long as you are trying to get something, you are being someone who lacks that thing. But when you assume the consciousness of having it, you become someone who has it, and the universe must respond accordingly. Let me give you another technique to apply this principle. I call it the morning watch. When you first wake up in the morning, before you engage with the world, take a few moments to establish the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Don't try to make your day good, assume it is good. Don't try to be successful. Assume you are successful. Start each day not by trying to get what you want, but by assuming you already have it. Remember the words of Scripture, let the weak say, I am strong. Notice it doesn't say, let the weak try to become strong. This is the law of assumption in operation. You assume the state you desire to express, and that assumption, persisted in, will harden into fact. Consider your own experience. When you know something with absolute certainty, do you try to know it? No. The trying comes only with uncertainty. This is why I tell you, the feeling of certain of already having or being what you desire is the key to manifestation. Many of you are wondering about the time it takes for your assumption to become your physical reality. Remember, time is not a distance we travel. It is a bridge we cross in consciousness. The moment you fully assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you have crossed that bridge. What appears as time is simply the journey of that assumption through the dimensions of your world. Let me share another secret. The feeling of relief is one of the most powerful feelings you can cultivate. When you try to get something, you feel tension. But when you have something, you feel relief. This is why it's so important to capture and maintain the feeling of relief that comes with fulfillment. I've taught thousands of students, and those who succeed are invariably those who master this art of feeling relief instead of triumph. They learn to live from the end instead of trying to reach the end. They understand that the end is where we begin, not where we arrive. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Neville, my desire seems so big, so impossible. Let me remind you of something. Size exists only in a world of effects, not in consciousness. In consciousness, the oak is not bigger than the acorn. They are the same thing in different states. Your desire, no matter how grand it seems, is not bigger than your capacity to assume its fulfillment. This is why Scripture tells us all things are possible to him that believeth. Notice it doesn't say to him that tries, but to him that believeth. Belief is not trying to believe. It is the feeling of knowing. When you know something, you don't try to know it. You simply know it. Let me tell you about one of my most remarkable students. She was a woman who had been deaf in one ear for over 40 years. Medical science had declared her condition permanent, but she understood this principle deeply. Instead of trying to hear, she assumed she was hearing perfectly. She didn't try to heal her ear. She simply lived from the assumption of perfect hearing. Within 2 months, her hearing was completely restored, baffling her doctors. This brings us to what I call the law of perpetual creation. Every moment of your life you are creating through your assumptions. When you try to get something, you are assuming you don't have it, and therefore creating more of not having it. This is why it's so crucial to master your assumptions. Here's a practical exercise I call the daily reset. 3 times each day, morning, noon, night, take a moment to reset your assumptions. Ask yourself, if I had what I desire, what would I be assuming right now? Then assume that. Don't try to make it true. Know that your assumption makes it true. Remember the biblical story of the prodigal son. Notice that the father didn't try to make his son return. He assumed the return in his heart. And that assumption drew the son home. This is how your consciousness works. It draws to you whatever you assume to be true. Let me share one more technique, the mirror method. When you look in the mirror, don't try to see what you want to see. Instead, assume you are seeing what you want to see. Your physical reflection may not change immediately, but persist in this assumption, and your reflection must conform to your consciousness. Now, some of you might be wondering about action. Remember this principle, right action flows naturally from right consciousness. When you assume the state of your wish fulfilled, you will be moved to take whatever action is necessary, but it will be inspired action, not desperate action. Consider how you act when you have something you once wanted. There's no trying, no forcing, no struggling. You simply act from the state of having it. This is how you should act now, from the assumption of already being or having what you desire. Let me address those of you who are impatient for results. Impatience is just another form of trying. When you truly assume something is yours, you become patient because you know it's already yours. The seed doesn't try to become a tree. It contains the tree and naturally becomes it. Here's what I call the Sabbath state. In this state, you rest from all trying because you know it is finished. This doesn't mean you become inactive. It means you act from the certainty of fulfillment rather than the uncertainty of trying to achieve. Remember, every time you find yourself trying, it's your signaling. Don't try to stop trying, that's more trying. Instead, simply assume the state where trying is unnecessary because you already have what you desire. As we conclude tonight, let me leave you with this final truth. You are not going to get what you want. You are going to get what you are. Therefore, instead of trying to get something, be the person who already has it. Live from that assumption and watch as your world reshapes itself to match your new state of consciousness. The practice is simple, but it requires vigilance. Watch your assumptions as carefully as you would watch your step in a dangerous place. Being capable of shaping reality through the power of your imagination. Now, I want you to understand that these habits are not separate, isolated practices. They are interconnected, each one supporting and amplifying the others. As you live in the end, assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you naturally cultivate gratitude for what you have imagined. As you revise your past, you strengthen your faith in the malleability of reality. As you let go, you demonstrate your unwavering trust in the perfect unfolding of your desires. In just 1 week of consistently applying these habits, you will begin to see evidence of your new reality taking shape around you. But remember, my dear friends, time is an illusion. In the realm of spirit, change can happen in an instant. The moment you truly embrace these habits, the moment you fully accept your divine nature and the creative power of your imagination, your entire world can shift in the blink of an eye. Let me share with you a story that illustrates the transformative power of these habits. There was once a man who had struggled with financial difficulties for many years. He lived in a small, cramped apartment, could barely make ends meet, and felt trapped in a job he despised. Then he discovered these 5 habits and decided to apply them with unwavering commitment. For 1 week, he dedicated himself to living in the end. Every night before sleep and every morning upon waking, he would close his eyes and imagine himself living in a beautiful home, enjoying financial abundance, and working in a fulfilling career. He felt the joy, the freedom, the sense of security that came with this new reality. He revised his past, reimagining his childhood as one of abundance and opportunity. In his mind, he rewrote every memory of lack or limitation, replacing them with experiences of plenty and success. He cultivated unwavering faith, dismissing any doubts or negative thoughts that arose, affirming to himself, I am now living my ideal life. My success is assured. Throughout the day, he practiced gratitude, giving thanks for the abundance that surrounded him, even if his physical circumstances hadn't yet changed. He expressed heartfelt appreciation for his imagined wealth, his dream home, his perfect job, feeling the emotions as if these things were already his. And finally, he mastered the art of letting go. He released his anxiety about how or when his desires would manifest, trusting in the perfect timing of the universe. He went about his days with a sense of peace and contentment, knowing that his new reality was already secured in the spiritual realm. Now, you might expect me to tell you that after 1 week, this man suddenly won the lottery or received a large inheritance. But that is not how the law of assumption works. Instead, something far more profound occurred. The man's entire perception of his life transformed. He began to see opportunities where before he had only seen obstacles. His confidence soared, and he found himself performing better at work, leading to a promotion and a significant raise. His new positive attitude attracted people who could help him advance his career. An acquaintance offered him a chance to invest in a promising business venture, which he seized with both hands. Within a month, he had moved into a larger, more comfortable apartment. Within 3 months, He had started his own successful business, and within a year he was living in the very home he had imagined during that transformative week. You see, my friends, the external changes in this man's life were merely reflections of the internal changes he had made through these 5 habits. By assuming the feeling of his wish fulfilled, by revising his past, by cultivating unwavering faith, by practicing gratitude, and by letting go. He had literally transformed himself into a new person, one whose reality matched his desires. Now I can sense that some of you may be thinking, but Neville, surely it can't be that simple. Surely there must be more to it than just imagining and feeling, and to that I say, yes, it is that simple, and no, there is nothing more to it. The power of creation lies within you, within your capacity to imagine and feel. Everything else, all the actions, all the apparent hard work, flows naturally from that initial creative act of imagination. Consider the words of the great William Blake. What is now proved was once only imagined. Everything in your world, from the chair you're sitting on to the most advanced technology, began as a thought, an idea, a spark of imagination in someone's mind. You, my dear friends, have that same creative power within you. You are not merely a passive observer of reality. You are the author of your life story. As we near the conclusion of our time together, I want to impress upon you the urgency of applying these habits in your life. Do not delay, do not procrastinate, do not tell yourself that you will start tomorrow. The time to begin is now, this very moment. For in truth, this moment is all that exists. The past is gone, the future is yet to be. But in this eternal now, you have the power to reshape your entire world. Begin tonight as you lay your head upon your pillow. Close your eyes and enter the state akin to sleep. That drowsy, quiet state where your conscious mind relaxes and your subconscious becomes receptive. In this state, assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. See yourself living the life you desire. Feel the emotions associated with having your dreams realized. As you drift off to sleep, carry this feeling with you into your slumber, for your subconscious mind never sleeps. And it is in these quiet hours of the night that it works most powerfully to bring your assumptions into reality. When you awaken in the morning, before you rise from your bed, revisit this feeling. Spend a few moments in gratitude for the new day and for the fulfillment of your desires. Throughout your day, whenever you have a spare moment, while waiting in line, during your lunch break, as you commute to and from work, practice these habits. Live in the end, revise any unpleasant experiences, cultivate your faith, express gratitude, and let go of any anxiety or doubt. Remember, my friends, consistency is key. These habits are not a one-time exercise, but a new way of life. They require practice, dedication, and persistence. But I assure you, the rewards are beyond anything you can currently imagine. For as you master these habits, you master the very art of living. You become conscious creators, divine beings expressing the infinite power of the universe through your thoughts and feelings. In closing, I want to remind you of a profound truth. You are not bound by your past, by your current circumstances, or by what others think is possible for you. You are bound only by your own imagination and your willingness to assume the feeling of your wishes fulfilled. The life you dream of is not somewhere out there in a distant future. It exists now in this very moment within you. So go forth, my dear friends, and apply these 5 habits with all the intensity and conviction you can muster. Live in the end, revise your past, cultivate unwavering faith, practice gratitude, and learn to let go. Do this, and I promise you, in just 1 week, you will see your world begin to transform. And as you persist in these habits, you will continue to witness miracles unfold in your life, day after day, week after week, until you stand in awe of the magnificent reality you have created. Remember, the kingdom of heaven is within you. All that you seek, all the love, all the abundance, all the joy, all the success, it is already yours. You need only to claim it, to assume it, to embody it. For you are the operant power. You are the divine creative force expressing itself in human form. Embrace this truth, live from this understanding, and watch as your life transforms in ways you never thought possible. Go now and be the creator of your world. For in the words of the immortal bard, all the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. You, my friends, are not just players in this grand drama of life. You are the playwright, the director, and the star of your own magnificent story. Write it well, direct it with purpose, and play your part with all the passion and conviction you can muster. The curtain rises on your new life now. Step onto the stage of your transformed reality with confidence, with joy, and with the unshakable knowledge that you are the author of your destiny. The power is yours, the time is now, and the only limit is your imagination. Embrace these 5 habits, embody them fully, and watch as your life changes in just 1 week and continues to evolve into a masterpiece of your own creation. Thank you, bless you, and may your journey of conscious creation bring you all the joy, abundance, and fulfillment your heart desires. Remember, it is done. It is finished. Your new life awaits you. Claim it now with every fiber of your being and step into the glorious reality that is your divine birthright. The world is yours, shaped by your imagination, molded by your assumptions, and brought to life by the power of your consciousness. Go forth and create miracles, for that is who you truly are. Miracle workers, divine creators, gods in human form. The stage is set, the lights are on, and your magnificent performance begins now.